In. Around. Over. And off.
Excellent connection.
In. Around. Over. And off. Are you right-handed, so you'd have to do it that way,
Oh, that's why.
right? But it's the same.
But then wouldn't I be using my left hand to go in?
I'm knitting like a lefty there, so.
1, 2.
In. Yeah. This is much easier. In.
1, 2.
Do I go around this way? Which way do I go around?
Oh, let me hold it for a sec.
You getting into the shot?
Yeah, in. Around, so you go in.
So
I
around.
don't know how to do it as a right-handed person, Christian, let's be honest with you.
So if you do it around the back, will I do it around the front?
So you're doing it around. So you've gone in, around, around,
So I'd already went in.
yeah. So you do it this way, would you?
No, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Just
I think I still go under it though, don't I?
Around,
I think you wrapped the wrong thing.
yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I
I
don't.
just do it as left hand person.
Well, if I'm going to show you, you're going to have to do it as left-hand person. But if you watch a YouTube video,
it's a hook to club, guys.
okay, sorry.
Right, I'll give it a shot then.
Right, so do it the way I showed you. You can watch a YouTube video, Christian, or else ask it.
Got a
and then
like
I can
already.
show you.
That's what I like. I like the likes
Alright.
immediately. We haven't done anything, but someone has liked it already. Excellent.
Oh, let me have my mic on.
Okay, so let me get you into focus and then hit this to manual. So, are you in focus now? You looking up? Okay, so let me just get this to manual. Now, Shin A in manual focus. That just stops it in. Changing. Good evening, Aaron. Aaron, you're first this evening. Fair ball to you. Frederick Bergstrom. I picked up my new Cali. Well done. Well done, Frederick. We're very happy for you. There's nothing like a brand new Cali.
Nope.
Is that in a Nordic country, or are you in the UK or Ireland? And if you're in a Nordic country, because it's kind of the end of the year, a lot of people would have pushed it through to January, or waited till January to pick it up, so that it wasn't registered. So it's not very bright, is it? It looks very bright, doesn't it? Bam. So that'd be interesting to know, because a lot of people would, although I suppose
You're shaking the table so the camera is rattling.
with a Cali you probably have no choice. It probably wrong. Although you probably could have pushed it out, couldn't you?
For another 3 weeks. Yeah, because...
Well, just for the registration.
Yeah.
You know, you'd kind of wait to get it 2002. Although I don't think I'd bother waiting.
Well, it's a 2022, not 2002.
Showing my age.
2021.
Showing my age. So just last week with the audio, I noticed. So if it's a little bit quiet, if anyone says it is, because last week I noticed I hadn't adjusted the audio, and when I was listening to it on playback, getting it ready, it was a little bit loud.
That's your fault.
There was a lot of peaking. Eslan, greetings from Dublin 9. First time catching you guys live. Good man or woman. Eslan. To Martha. Very good.
To Martha.
Oh, to Martha. All right, very
Yeah.
good to Martha. Yeah, very good. The Guinness ad. Excellent. So, Dublin 9, huh? Where's Dublin 9?
Over the north side.
I know it's on the north side. Whereabouts though?
I'm going to say...
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have a clue.
Glasnevin.
Glasnevin. What is Finglas 11? Is it?
Don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't matter now.
Kind of. Where's North?
Santry. Yeah, you weren't a million miles off, I suppose. One thing I'm really, strangely enough, bad at is geography. Very bad sense of geography. Good evening,
Mr. Ford.
Ian. How's it going? So,
Leave it. And we'll fix it.
Christian was learning how to knit.
For like the 4th time.
And he's like his dad. If it doesn't come to him immediately, he gets very frustrated.
A bit of a strap there.
He gets very frustrated. So yeah, so that's the thing with the sound last week. It was peaking a lot on playback, so it was very difficult to get the sound right. So hopefully tonight, I've got the sound working okay. So you guys might have to hire up your sound your end, but other than that, it seems to be okay. So just I suppose jumping straight in, I got a very long.
Hi.
I got a very long. It's lucky you're pretty. I got a very long text, a comment from a John Johnson, an Englishman.
What a name.
John Johnson, yeah, John Johnson. Well, you know, in the good old days, if your name was John, you were
Johnson.
Johnson, yeah. So John Johnson, and he said an Englishman here, and I think that's in reference to maybe we're looking for an English opinion or something like that. But he was stating that he was my like is for your beard. My like is for... Oh, very good. Thank you. It's 4 months old. My beard, yeah. 4 months old. What's today's date? 4 months old. I shaved it off on the 2nd of August.
Yeah.
And it's 4 months old. 4 months and 2 days old. Happy birthday, Beardy. So normally what happens is that I get fed up with it after about 4 or 5 months and I shave it. But this time I'm not. Now, I've said that several times and I've shaved it, but I'm not going to this time. I'm going to go for broke on it.
That's great. That's fantastic.
So,
That's exactly
full
what I want
on
to do
beard.
right
I'm
now.
going to grow for at least a year and then see. Because I never last more than... What I start doing is I grow...
10 seconds?
No. I make sure you're in the shot now. Look, see, you're over there. Come, scooch over.
You moved over.
Scooch over. And sit up straight, because look.
Yeah, but I am 5'5", Jane. You
Okay.
are 6 foot.
Okay.
There is a difference.
Yeah.
That would be a 9.
But you're kind of slouched. So, that's what I'm going to do. Normally what happens is the first thing I start doing, right, so Aaron has a beard, he'll probably understand this. First thing I start doing is I start clippering it. Then what happens, and usually it's okay, but then I get to the point where I get fed up with clippering it and I usually make some hames of it and then it all comes off. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to not clip it. And I'm
Do you want to get on
trying
with
to
your
leave it
text?
alone. Sorry. Oh yeah. Ginger Barry. Ginger Barry. I have to think that one out now. Ginger Barry. Who's Ginger Barry? What's Ginger Barry mean?
Could be Barry and he's a ginger.
Maybe it's Ginger Beard, is it? You know, typos. So
Unless
he's...
Ginger Barry is somebody's name.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Maybe.
sorry. Hi guys. Sorry, Ginger Barry. Sorry.
Let's get those prescriptions looked at
I
again.
like that. Yeah, Ginger Barry. So, yeah, so he sent me, it's in the comments. If you look, it's in one of the comments. I think it's the comment from Nordstrom or something like that. Anyway, so he sent me a very long, interesting comment. And in fairness, what I would say is he pointed out some of the positives about the VW California. And because, to be fair, we honed in on all the negative issues, which I don't think he was arguing with me, but he was saying that if you go to a custom build, that there's things that you only get in the California that you can't. And according to him, one of them was the double glazed glass at the back, which is very handy, I have to say. Now, I'm presuming you can possibly get that, but he was saying that that's a benefit that you get in the California, that you get this double glazing glass.
That's it. That's literally the only benefit.
No, I think you may have mentioned a couple of others as well, but I think that double glazed glass is very good.
It's definitely worth the extra 20 grand, so.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the thing about it is we should probably go through what the positives are at some stage. To be fair.
We'll have to find them first.
So I did feel not guilty, but just kind of, I thought that's a fair point actually, to strike a bit of balance.
But we do say all the time that we enjoy the Californian.
Well, anyway, I love it. I do love it.
Yeah.
It's just not to kind of rehash last week. The thing about it is, for the money you're spending it, you'd expect.
Shocking.
That's actually, I was going to say, there's a story I heard, and it's an apocryphal story, which means it may not be true. I was told this years ago. Good evening, Rory.
What's the story?
George prefers me with a beard. Yeah. If every woman was honest, she'd prefer her man with a beard.
I don't mind your beard. It's your hair that drives me mad.
Well, I have it still. Falling out of this.
Well, if I was you, what I'd do is I'd chop that off there and stick it on there.
That's not very nice. Look, I'm not
I'm
sensitive.
trying to give you a hand.
I heard a story about Rolls Royce. So some guy was driving. I heard this a million years ago. So some guy was driving his Rolls Royce, right? And what happened was it broke down, and he was in like a desert or something like that in Libya or whatever, right? So he was somewhere far away from obviously where Rolls Royces are made in the UK.
Sorry.
And he rang Rolls Royce, and they sent out an engineer, and they fixed the car for him. And then that was it. The engineer left him, and he went home. And then when he got back to the UK, wherever he was, he never got a bill. So he rang Rolls Royce to say, "I never got a bill for the engineer coming out to fix the car. What do I owe you?" And Rolls Royce was saying, "No.
Shouldn't have happened.
No." They said, "What repairs?" And he said, "An engineer. I rang you, and you sent an engineer out, and he came out, a mechanic or whatever, right? And he came out and fixed the car, and he got me, and blah blah blah, and yada yada yada." And he said, and then Rolls Royce said, "No. That's not us, because Rolls Royces never break down." And I was going, very good, very good. So you see, I think VW should have a similar policy. They should go along. They should basically quash people like us complaining immediately. They should silence us, because I think the thing is, if you go onto that VW forum, there's a lot of useful stuff, but there are a lot of complaints. Anyway, we're rehashing last week.
Do you find you were?
I'm only saying, is your Cali garage ready for winter, or do you take some more time? COVID is what's stopping us taking trips. We're going to have a few more. We would make trips all year round, no problem, right? If anything, we probably do, I'm going to say, more trips in the winter.
Yeah, we definitely do a lot more day trips in the winter.
Yeah, we seem to do a lot more trips in the winter for some reason. I don't know why. It's probably less busy, but I've noticed that. Do you know what it is? It's because we usually go away in the summer. So we don't put it away for the winter, we just use it all year round. But we probably have a couple of trips planned, but nothing extensive because of COVID. You can't leave the county at the moment, and what else? Well, you just can't do a whole lot.
No.
But we will do some other things.
Up to Tuesday, we could only go 5 kilometers from
Sweden.
the house anyway.
Huh?
Up to Tuesday, we could only go 5 kilometers from the house.
I live in Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. Yeah, very good. Interesting. Sweden. So you'll have to have super duper tires on it and all that kind of stuff. So
Have we been in Sweden?
No. We were supposed to. The plan was to go to Norway.
We went.
And Denmark, and maybe
when
go to
we
Sweden.
went looking for that. When we went to when we were in Italy.
Yeah.
And we went up to the Dolomites.
Yeah.
Is that close to Sweden? What are you laughing at? My miles away.
It's not close to Sweden. No. So we
Switzerland.
were there. Switzerland is what you were
That's
thinking.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So yeah. Sweden is way up. It's like in the near the North Pole.
Geography's not my
It's got the Arctic Circle and everything like that. So the lads you're probably in full darkness now at the moment.
Oof.
All
the time.
I think they get very little. They get a very short day. Probably lasts about say half an hour or something.
No.
The sun probably pops up and then it's gone.
Yeah, but then I'd be interested to know how many hours of a day then you get sunlight in the
24 hours.
Oh my god.
If you're within the Arctic Circle, the Arctic Circle defines where it's 24 hours of sunlight and then 24 hours of darkness during the winter.
That'd be immense.
Wouldn't that be correct in saying that, Frederick?
I like
I
that
would
name.
be. Yeah, Frederick, yeah. It's a cool name, isn't it? Especially Bergstrom. Frederick Bergstrom.
Very strong name.
Yeah, very, very strong. Yeah, Viking and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
You look like a Viking.
So I'm told. Very handsome Vikings. So what do you want to talk about?
No, it's up to you now. I can barely string a sentence together.
Okay, I'll dig into
Wouldn't
my...
leave me alone to have a nap earlier on. They insisted on me putting up the bloody Christmas tree while they watched.
I will be putting up a video about our Christmas tree erection. I'll probably get in trouble now for saying that word.
Well, no, that's just a word about putting something up.
I know, but you know yourself. Let me see. Talk amongst yourselves there till I find my lists. So you have to pick a number.
No worry.
So pick a number between 1 and 17.
A.
8.
Yeah.
Well, Okay, fair enough. Okay, so look, the plan here is right with these points is to stick to it for the length of the duration of the podcast.
It's going to be a short one tonight.
But but what we can do is kind of throwing it out to the floor for people to kind of, you know, what I'm going to try and do is foster feedback from people to say what they think, but also, we can probably try and pros and cons.
Don't be annoying me now.
Right? No. So here we go. So what it is, the point number 8 is, well, I have the comment here I have is unnecessary violence regarding, say, The Mandalorian, right? So what I mean in that is, so what's people's view of unnecessary film violence and stuff like that? So to put it into context, we were watching The Mandalorian, which is a Star Wars.
Can I pick another number?
No. Listen, no, it's kind of interesting. Well, okay. Do you want to talk about something else?
Go on.
So, well, we could talk about learning Irish.
Oh God, no. Keep going.
So, The Mandalorian is it's a Star Wars spin-off, and actually it's on Disney, right? So if you have the Disney channel, it's very good. We're currently we've subscribed to Disney, but the minute The Mandalorian is over, we'll be unsubscribing because there's nothing else on Disney. There's nothing on the Disney channel. The only thing they have, I think, of any like the good stuff on it, but I've watched everything. We've seen everything. So they have The Mandalorian, which is an excellent spin-off, and it's interesting how they make it as well. It's very well made. It's a good story, and it's a good Star Wars spin-off. It's better than any of the movies they made, so we enjoy it. But what I was watching was one of them. So Christian loves it, and the two of us watch it. So basically, a story from a week or two ago was that these guys had the good guys had boarded one of the enemy ships, and they were fighting their way to the bridge of the ship, right? And what happens was then, the bad guys were in a part of the ship, and they were radioing to the cabin, and they said to them, "We're in the cargo hold. We've got them. They were in the cargo hold. The bad guys. They were in the cargo hold, right?" And he said, "But we've got them trapped between us and you at the front of the ship." So the captain of the ship or whatever is saying, "You're where?" And they were saying, "We're in the cargo hold." Of course, the good guys were on the other side of the door where they could push the button. And you know the cargo hold, it's like the back of a ship opens and the guys all get sucked out, right? And that's the end of it. So I was watching it and I was like, it's not gratuitously violent, right? But if you think about it, right? If you think about it now, think about it. They open the cargo, so they're inside in the middle of the ship, and they pushed the button, and the guys got sucked out the back. Now they weren't in space, right? They got sucked out and they fell to their deaths. So it's a bit like, say, in that bit where it's what's that movie? What's Austin Powers? You know the bit in Austin Powers where the guy falls through and he's dying and he's saying it's really hot down here and everything like that, right? So when I watched it, I said, what they've just done is open the back. These guys have been sucked out, and they'll probably pass out because of the altitude or something like that. But they're going to fall to their deaths, and it's a horrible death, right? And so I thought, that's terrible. Like, that's like, it's shocking. But we don't think about it. We just think, oh yeah, they got sucked out the back. That's the end of it. You're kind of going, it's part of the story. They got sucked out the back, but they're probably going to fall 10 or 15 or 20,000 foot to their death, right? So it's a hard, imagine that. You're falling to your death.
Would they ever land on Earth?
Well, it's not set on Earth, it's set in some planet in space. But they will land on a planet. Like, well, it's like the planet is like as if they were, imagine if you were flying a plane and you've got guys trapped at the back of the plane, you open the door, they got sucked out, they'd fall
like
to their...
Batman.
Yeah, like Batman, I suppose. Yeah. But I just thought it's kind of a kid's program, but it's kind of gratuitous.
Well, you see, they done that...
Discuss.
Because it's not actively violent.
Yeah.
They didn't chop their heads off or shoot them or anything like that, so the kids won't take it on board that it's violence.
Yeah.
Now I understand what you're saying, but if it is for children won't make that connection.
Well, I don't know what the age group is. It's probably 12s or 15s or something like that. Kristen probably is too young to be watching it, right? But I think he's saying worse. But if you think about it, like, I think what happens is that when we see them getting killed, all that kind of stuff, right? We see them getting killed. The violence seemed unnecessary. Like, to me, having them trapped in the cargo hold was enough, So they're trapped, and they make their way to the front of the ship. Okay, so it's a firefight, right? It's a firefight, and they run the risk of getting killed, and they're fighting their way to the front of the ship to take over the ship. But what they hit the button, and these guys got sucked out the back, and it just seemed unnecessary. And I went, that seems a little violent, And so
What else were they going to do with them?
well, they could have left them trapped. They could have blown the blast.
Forever?
They could have blown the thing off the door. Well, no, they weren't going to crash the ship. So obviously they could have got what they wanted, and I suppose it was inevitable that they were going to kill them. But the point I'm saying is that it just seemed. See, the thing is, I think we see this violence,
So
and
the
we
good
don't.
guys killed the bad guys.
Well, I say good guys because it depends on whose side you are on. You know what I mean? But they are the bad guys. So the Empire, yeah. So they are the bad guys. But I just think that we're so, I think, used to seeing this violence,
Conditioned.
yeah, that we don't consider it. So there's a great bit in Austin Powers. If you haven't seen Austin Powers, there's a great play on this in Austin Powers where they drop the guy through the chute in the floor, and then they're like, and he's gone, I'm still alive, I'm down here, I think I'm badly injured, can someone call me a doctor, and stuff like that. It's very funny, right? Because it's a play on they're killing the henchmen. But this whole thing is, so there's another one where they kill this henchman, and then it cuts to his family at home that day, and so the henchmen are real people too. Okay, so I'm watching Star Trek at the moment, right? So there's a new Star Trek at the moment. What's it called? It's a new Star Trek. What's the new Star Trek called? I'm watching it.
I have no idea.
All right, okay. So there's a new Star Trek out at the moment, and I don't know. I used to love watching the Star Trek: The Next Generation. Right, that was excellent. But when I watched the new one, again, it's very violent. Right? They seem
That's what people want.
I know. Well, I don't know. You see, the thing is, they seem to. It's all brawn, right? The Star Trek: Next Generation was very good because there was a lot of intelligence involved. They were clever, and they used a lot of diplomacy and a lot of brilliance. Like Jean-Luc Picard was quite brilliant and stuff like that as well. So they used a lot of. Whereas this all seems brute force and aggression and murder and mayhem. And I'm kind of thinking there's just no interest in it. But it like you say, is it the, you wonder.
Well, I would say it's safe to say, judging by the way the world is at the moment, that people that's what they want to see, because that's what they're doing themselves.
But there's no, you see, the thing I used to watch starting the Next Generation, like TNG. I used to love that because, and I respected Jean-Luc Picard, and you respected, but you respected these guys for the they didn't go in all guns blazing. They went in trying to. No, they did, right. There was a certain amount of killing, and there was a lot of kind of fighting and all that kind of stuff, and hand to hand stuff and everything. But you see, what I found with the Next Generation was the threat of violence was always there, because the Klingons were there, and they were like, you knew what those guys. They were like the guy you bring to the party who gets drunk and at any moment could kick off, right?
Like
you love those guys.
It's like a 9-year ma out.
It's like a what?
It's like a 9-year ma out.
A 9-year ma out?
Your mother when you're out.
It's like annoying your mother when you're out.
Yeah, so the threat of violence.
Okay.
That's enough to keep you quiet.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah, so I think the thing is, but it never really got to that point where what tended to happen was they kind of got, and it never got boring. You see, this is the thing, it never got boring. So now what happens is that they land the ship and they come out all guns blazing. But then you see, the part of the problem with these new programs is the protagonist can't die, otherwise there'd be no show. So that's what the discussion's about. Let's see if I can catch up with anyone. See who's anyway. Rory, good evening. We watch your movies. We watch your movies. Got interested in going to the UK and Ireland. Yeah.
Definitely come to Ireland anyway, because it's beautiful.
And we need to go to the UK as well. We've been, but a long time ago before we were making videos.
To Wales as well,
we were brand new. We had the van, and we didn't know what we were doing.
The van and a van full of stress.
Well, I didn't know.
And about 15 bags with us.
Yeah, it was too much. So, we don't think of it because we know it's a movie. Okay. Do we need to go back to the beginning? Possibly. No, not really, Laura. We know it's a movie. Yeah, you see, that's the thing, and I know like you're laughing there, but I think Aaron. But I think this is the point, that I think that's the thing. If you watch these shows now, It's all brawn and no. And I think it's like that Twitter culture. You know, the culture now of Twitter, it's all aggression, it's all Trump, it's all that kind of stuff. You know, there's just no more, like if you look
Keyboard
politicians and stuff like that, it's all, there's no, they just seem all so confrontational. That seems to be the thing. And I think it seems to be,
Hi, David.
I don't know, it just seems to be worse now, I
think
think.
the word has just gone a little bit crazy, to be honest with you.
You can't say that.
Well, I just have.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you can't say the world's gone crazy when your
Well,
only
then-
source of information is the news media.
And where else am I going to get the information from?
You need to get out there and experience the world.
Right, I will see. Goodbye and go.
All right, fair enough. Good evening, David.
Taking the van with me. Can I use your credit
I've only
card?
2 hours of battery left. Is that a hint?
Shut up, Jay.
So well, look, that's the thing. I've thrown it out there now, so that's the topic.
No, let's talk about something else.
Well, I went to a big explanation.
But you didn't have to. Because, like, it's Star Wars or Star Trek.
No. It's not Star Wars or Star Trek. Like, if you think about it, like
Unnecessary violence
Well,
is
say
what you're
people,
talking
like
about.
say people of an older generation who watched the original Star Wars.
Mm.
Okay, so Darth Vader was a bit of a bad dude and all like that, but very,
The guy that
very
played
apart
him.
from
The guy that played him died last
yeah,
week.
the actor who played Darth Vader, yeah,
Yeah.
the physical Darth Vader, not the voice, yeah. Anyway, but even then, like if you go back to westerns and stuff like that as well, you know, those kind of people were shot at a distance and they fell off the horses and all that kind of stuff. No, you've no interest in that topic, no.
But that's why they don't allow. Not that they don't allow. They frown upon children playing cowboys and Indians now because of violence.
I saw a study one time, right? I saw a study about there was this family in the UK, I think it was, and what they did was with their kids was they tried to raise them without giving the boys guns and soldiers and that kind of stuff, and they didn't want to give the girl kids dollies and prams and everything like that. But what the boys did, the boys made guns out of sticks and whatever, and the girls made dolls out of sticks, say, that kind of thing, right? They made their own because it's in us to do that. So you can't, so there's a level of, like, we're an aggressive species by our nature. So you can't get that out of our system yet. But I think the thing is that, like, you know, as adults, we all clearly don't go around, you know, well, we shouldn't go around attacking each other. What's Aaron saying here? I never understood why people blame movies on violence. I have never gone out and killed anyone after watching a movie, although I do drive like they do. I do drive like they do in the Dukes of Hazzard. Say it like it's pet, a load of a bolly. Say it like it's pet, a load of bolly.
It is.
Say it like it is pet. All right, sorry. Say it like it is a load of that. I think that's addressed to you, is it? Yeah. Okay, a load of. No, you don't. Well, look, I just thought, like, I think it's just kind of interesting that, you know, no, just me, is it?
What?
Is it no?
What?
Well, like, I don't know, because I don't watch it, which is I don't like watching violent movies or anything like that.
Hello.
No.
Hello.
Says Mr.
Hello. You don't like watching violent movies.
No, I don't.
All you watch is murder stuff.
That's different.
That's all you watch.
I watch that for the psychology of it.
No, V. You love all that stuff. You see, this is the thing. You. That's the point I'm saying. You watch this and it doesn't faze you because you kind of go, it's not real. But, like, it should.
Yeah,
bother
but
you.
I don't like the violence in it. I do. I'm very interested in the psychology and all that around murders and why they're done.
Well, you are the smart person.
That's true, son.
Well, I don't know what that means.
But that doesn't mean to say that I'm plotting anything, like. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
but you see, that's Aaron's point as well. That, like, because we see it, you see, I'm not saying that we watch stuff and go out and do it, right? So I remember when I was a kid and we'd leave the cinema, you know, you'd be going home, you'd be like, when he sees something, you know, he's acting it out and he can't wait to get home and play it out in his mind and all that kind of stuff. That's part of it. That's play. But I think the thing, so that's, you know, we know that it's not real and we draw the line at that. But I think the point is that we're so saturated by violence that we don't think these kind of things true. And I just personally, It's not that I'm against it. I just think when I watch the new Star Trek and I see how aggressive it is, not only that, right? This is the thing that's totally crazy about it, right? It makes absolutely no sense. Your one's name is Burnham, Michael Burnham, right? That's the main protagonist in it, right? Michael, she's a girl and her name's Michael, right? So that's daft. Although Michael could be a girl's name, but I don't think it is because I've never met one called Michael.
Gaeilge.
Right? Michaela. Okay. So Michael, be careful. So Michael, but the you could have done that when I was you'd all evening to do that. So
I told you to put that skill back up in your room.
So the this is the thing about it, right? If Michael is not crying, has anyone watched it? Right? Has anyone watched it? If Michael is not crying at one, so she's super sensitive because you know the way I'm always giving out watching it. She's constantly crying. They meet, right? So the characters, the main protagonists are kind of constantly tearing up and getting upset over stuff and crying over things, right? That's what they're constantly doing. But then 5 seconds later, they're gunning down some poor alien or having him sucked out into the vacuum of space. I think that's like when we watch, if you were super sensitive and a nice person, I don't think you'd be that quick to go out and be killing people.
You can be emotionally unstable without being super sensitive or a nice person.
You can what?
You can be emotionally unstable. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a nice person.
No, well, they're not portraying them as emotionally unstable.
Oh, right.
There's the bad guys who probably are. There are some baddies in it, but these are just coming across as portraying them as super sensitive. It's completely inconsistent. It's like if I was, the personality types. So I'm a certain personality type, but then I'm a real Jekyll and Hyde then clearly because I'm out basically. I get off the ship and someone starts shooting at me, and all of a sudden then I'm out with the blazers, out with the blasters, and then because like I'm the main protagonist, I know I'm gonna kill everybody. There's no. I just think it's wrong. No interest in that now. No. Fair enough. So you can go to Eurotunnel since Two Bridges. You are in Sweden. You can go through the Eurotunnel since Two Bridges. All right. Okay, and you're in Sweden. Very good. Yeah. So that's the plan. The plan was to go to the plan was to get the boat somehow to the Netherlands. And then make our way up through Germany and up through then Denmark and then Norway and just wild camp our way around and do that kind of stuff. Go to Scandinavia. It's on the to-do list. And Berlin, I've been to Berlin a long time ago, but I wanted to bring the guys there. So that's on the to-do list. So, but next year is a bit of a busy year.
Yeah, we're not making plans for it.
We don't know what we're doing next year because we'd probably still be in lockdown apparently up to the middle of the year. And also it's my 50th birthday next year. And so...
And I'm turning 40 again.
I don't know what we're doing. We were supposed to have a plan for that, but that's all over the place now. So we're a little bit all over the place with regards to plans for next year. I foresee as basically probably there's going to be a relaxed situation with regards to COVID, but probably going to be encouraged to stay within the country.
Yeah.
And not travel.
Well, they're saying until they have everyone vaccinated, not as many as possible vaccinated, that they don't want people travelling just yet.
Yeah.
So we just suck it and see.
How are we doing for time?
I have an idea.
Go on, yeah.
How about we all say what type of personality we think we have and see how real that actually is. So say Dad was like, oh, I'm the most wonderfulest person ever.
Well, that's
I'm
true.
so smart and
That's
amazing.
true.
Me and Mum would be like, no, that's just your very big ego. You're not top.
That seems a bit like you're kind of fishing for compliments or something, doesn't it?
I think Christian's wonderful though. He's a wonderful personality.
Well, what kind of personality do you think you have? And you need to speak up because you're behind us.
Mind my bag, buddy. Don't.
What kind of
break
personality do you have?
I don't know. Why can't I just do what I do and it happens and it just works?
He's definitely my son anyway.
Christian comes home from school and I say, Christian, what did you learn today? Nothing. What did you do? Nothing. Did you teach anything? No. What did your teacher say to her? Nothing. She said nothing to you all day? Yeah. How are you, Vanessa? Good. What did you do today? Sat on the couch. I did. No, what I do, I get specifically what you did. I went to Tesco. And
Tesco's
Went to Tesco's and I bought bread.
See, the thing is, Mom will actually tell me a lot of what she does if I ask her. So she obviously doesn't like
Whereas I'm probably very verbal. Well, then what do you want to talk about? I'll talk about maybe learning Irish.
Well, let's have a look at what else you have on here.
No, because I'm not going through the list that way because I'll burn
Right,
through
well
them.
then what number did I just pick there?
You pick number 8.
Okay, so this time I'll pick number...
Stop
12.
it, Christian. Stop. I know what you're... No, because I know what you're like.
This time I'll pick number 12.
Alright, okay. No, I don't want to do it that way. I want to keep them. You have one per go, and that's the end of it, right? Because we'll get through
you
them.
better put things down that
No,
the
because you're
community
supposed to
is
have something to
interested
say.
in.
This is,
Can I
after
choose one?
all,
Can I
your
choose one?
podcast.
Can I choose some numbers?
No,
Why?
no, I'm not doing it.
choose
No,
numbers.
no. Get your own.
Wait.
No, get your own points.
I'm gonna make my own
No,
ones then,
I'm
yeah?
not doing it that way.
I'm making my own
No,
ones.
I'm ending the podcast now. Goodbye.
I'm making my
You're
own
such a
ones.
brat.
Right. Well, what do you want to talk about? Will I talk about learning Irish?
Shut.
Shat. Okay. Let's just see. How's the sound? Well, I'd say we probably peaked now a couple of times. So, does anyone speak number 12? No, I'm not doing that, David.
Number 12.
What is number 12? Let's have a look. What is number 12? Oh, that's the one Vanessa picked. Vanessa
Yeah.
picked 12.
No.
No, I'm not doing it. So
Me
it's a good one
neither.
though. Well,
I like
no, you see, the thing is, if you don't like my Mandalorian thing, you're definitely not going to like number 12.
You're only lying to me.
So,
Comes to toss.
Gaeilge a Dhéanamh. So,
Do you speak fluent Irish as well, or have you just put that into Google now? Aaron.
So, what I'm doing is, in Ireland, we're forced to learn Irish. So that's the
still.
thing, right? So you're okay. Okay, so I'm Beagán Gaeilge, a gut, but you probably have more than a Beagán, right? So in Ireland, you're forced to learn Irish.
A gum, you mean?
A gum is me, a gut.
Yeah.
Oh well, Beagán Gaeilge, a gut.
A
is-
gum, a gut. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So we're forced to learn Irish, and once Irish people are forced to learn something, or forced to do, once they're forced to do anything, they won't do it. So there's a tremendous amount of resistance to learning Irish in Ireland, which is a real shame, and also how it's taught. Like,
To a certain age group,
I-
how it was taught.
well, I struggled to pick up French, right? But I could learn. I could do it a little bit, right? But I wasn't particularly interested in learning French. But I did want to learn German. And then when I went to college, and then I spent some summers in Germany, right? I picked up a fair bit of German, and I was kind of happy enough to learn it. And I think there's a lot to say with this immersion thing, being immersed in the language. But in Ireland, so a lot of people there's areas in Ireland where people speak Irish all the time, or they should do. They're called Gaeltachts, right? And so what people do is, if you're serious about learning Irish, you will speak Irish, and then what you do is you go to these for the summer as a kid, and then you're immersed in the language, and then you come back. And that's the thing. So there's a lot of negativity, apparently, about learning Irish because of the troubles in the north and all. So the troubles in the Northern Ireland between Catholics and Protestants, right? So it was sort of a bit like flying a Union flag in the UK. It's seen as a little bit right wing. My understanding is speaking Irish in Ireland was seen as a little bit Republican, right? So there's certain stigmas about speaking Irish, and only about 80,000 people in the country are fluent, apparently, as far as I know. So I never really learned Irish at school, and I resisted it. And then what happened was I didn't learn enough to be any good at it. But it's something, as I've gotten older, I regret it. And at the time I found it frustrating as well, that I couldn't understand it. And I regret it. And over the years, I'd say I've made 5 or 6 attempts now at learning Irish. But now I'm serious about it. Now I've kind of really knuckled down. I'm signed up to do a Rosetta Stone course. I'm doing that on the phone. I've signed up to do a course in January with what's it called? I'm going to say Teachtain na Gaeilge, but is it Teachtain na Gaeilge?
That's Irish Week. Shocked and
No, that's not. Anyway, so I've signed up to something to do it anyway with to learn Irish, and also I'm watching some videos and stuff like that. But I think it's very interesting, but it is amazing. And what I remember, I was away in Germany one year, and I met this guy. He was from East Germany, right? So you know the way the country was split. So this guy was from East Germany. So the East Germans and the West Germans, they've a different kind of mindset. The West Germans are more polite and they're more westernized and, I'm going to say cultured, if you know what I mean, with a Western culture. Whereas the East Germans, because they were like behind the iron wall, iron curtain, thank you. They're more blunt, and this guy was quite blunt and direct. And he said to me one day, "You're Irish," and I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Say something in Irish." And I that I could say a few things, but he was like, "You can't speak Irish," and I was like, "No," and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" Now, obviously, taken out of context, very few people in Ireland speak Irish, so I was like most Irish people. But I think it's a real pity. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to teach myself.
So you're going to learn it. You're going to go back and you're going to find that guy, and then you're going to have a conversation.
I'm going to track him down, and I'm going to talk the head off him.
Go to California.
Yeah. So whether you like it or not, and but I just think it's just an interesting topic, and it's quite interesting. There's a good program on it, but there was some guy, and it was called No Berla, and he was traveling around. Ireland trying to get people to speak Irish, and on the East Coast you could see that people were very hesitant to speak Irish. They were very reluctant, and the few words they did have, or they were quite hostile to him in Dublin. But then obviously when he went to Gael talks and people spoke very little Irish. But then when he got to Connemara and stuff like that, and do you remember that time we went to that place? Remember in Donegal we were in the pub and the two guys were speaking Irish. Remember that? That was super impressive. And actually, where I work, one of the shops is in a Gaeltacht down in where was it now? It's down near Waterford. I think it could be the Gaeltacht near Ring or something like that. I know I was in one of our shops somewhere. I can't quite think of where it was. Oh, actually, I'm wrong. It was near Athboy. There's a Gaeltacht up there, and what happened was these two customers come in chatting in Irish because there's a Gaeltacht there, and it's just so impressive to hear it. So I'm on a mission. So the thing that stops people learning Irish in Ireland, and I think, is people have it in their head it's difficult, and anything is difficult when you don't know how to do it. But I think if you apply yourself. So the plan is to be this time next year. I'm going to stick at it for the year, which is not easy because of COVID and stuff like that as well, and trying to get the classes and mix of people. But I'm going to be, hopefully this time next year, I was told I wouldn't be fluent, but the whole idea is to be,
well, at least to be able to have a conversation. Laura's just asking there, is it still compulsory? It is, Laura, and to be honest with you, I think it should remain compulsory. I definitely think people should have.
Just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I definitely think people should have some Irish. I don't have any Irish at all. I'm dreadful at it. But again, I would blame languages isn't my thing. I struggle with English best part of the time. But
that's true.
I think the teachers have an awful lot to do with it. How they not the teachers, but how they were trained to teach Irish as well was, for the likes of our age group, definitely was very, very badly. I never had one teacher that I could say with my hand on my heart was any good at teaching Irish. Now, on the other hand,
you're kind of scratching an itch there with regards to what I think of teachers in general. Yeah,
Christian's teachers that he has had are doing a fantastic job.
Oh yeah, way better.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Christian's Irish is very advanced.
Because I'm picking up little bits from helping him with his homework.
Yeah.
And it just seems so much easier.
Well, I remember they seem to leave it much later to teach him to read and write in English. They seem to leave it later, and they did a lot of that phonetic stuff. But then, boom, he was reading, right?
Yeah.
It was like overnight.
So much quicker.
It was amazing the way it was done. They gave you more time, but they were doing it phonetically. And I remember we'd have to do your homework with it. But it was like, now obviously, he's like me. He's clever, so and you obviously, So
I have some questions.
You have some questions?
Well, can before I read your questions, can I just go through the comments, right? So let's see. Aaron says, I hated it in school, but then I worked with a guy that spoke it, so I learned a lot. Yeah, you see, there's a lot to be said. I that's the thing I would love. That's why I'd love to know somebody who speaks Irish, and then I could spend a lot of time with them, because you see, this is the thing you need to do. That's why when Christian was learning Irish, I'm trying to piggyback on the back of what he's doing, because the whole idea is that if you're good and you learn it, you and I can kind of learn it off each other, and I think that's a good thing. Teaching has a lot to do with it. David Morrison says, the fridge seems quieter tonight. It does, and I forgot to stick the thing in front of it that I normally did.
So just as well.
But it is very quiet tonight. In fact, I thought it was broken. And it is very quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unusually quiet. Don't get near it. Don't get near it. You'll set it off. I think it just looks for attention.
So
Wait now.
Wait
is
now,
that
wait
finished
now.
yet?
David says, I'm useless. Lots of Irish words, but can't string them together. Yeah, and that seems to be the thing that I'm the same, because when I'm doing that Rosetta Stone stuff, I know when I see the sentences, I know what they mean. But if you ask me what they are immediately afterwards, I'm gone, I couldn't repeat it. So people seem to have a lot of the couple focal, right? A few words. That's what everyone seems to have, a few words that they understand. But I contacted this guy. He's a YouTube channel called, I think it's called Learn Irish.
Oh well, no, that's genius.
Yeah, no, it's very good. He's a chap in Waterford. Dane, his name is, right? And I watch his videos, or I listen to them when we're driving up and down. They are excellent. But I contacted him because I was looking for somebody in the area to maybe who might teach in the area, and he said he'd no contacts. But what I said was, I'd like to be fluent, and he said to me, you need to keep yourself realistic, and you probably won't get fluency. And my understanding, what is fluency, right? So how do you know when you're fluent in a language? So my understanding from watching videos about languages, when you start to abbreviate a language, so when you're talking and you make shortcuts and you slightly modify the language, that's my understanding of what fluency
Just
means.
like my Tala accent.
Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah.
So I must be fluent in English.
Well, I hope you're fluent. So that's the point he was making, that that's when you're fluent. And it always reminds me of a story a million years ago. I was working with this guy.
Quick now, long story short.
No, he was a German, he's an American guy. He was a GI. I probably told this story before. He's a GI, right? So, not GI, he's an American soldier. So I was in Germany, and there's a lot of German soldiers who were based over there, right? It was like, this is in the 90s. And but what would happen was a lot of them would finish up, and instead of going home, they'd stay on, right? So because they'd a better standard of living, and they probably met some German Fraulein and, set up shop over in Germany. So I remember him telling me one day that he was on a train and he was listening to because you're kind of saying, when do you know when you're speaking German really, really well? And he said he was on a train one day and he was listening to two girls in the train in front of him talking about something. They were gossiping, and he was listening to them gossiping. And then he was like, wait a minute, what language are they speaking? That's when he knew. And he said also, when you start to dream, he started to dream in German.
In the language, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when you probably have a high level of fluency. But they can still tell that you're, a real German person can still tell that you're speaking German as a non-German person, because how we speak Irish as Irish people is different from people who learn to speak Irish, learn to speak English. You know what I mean? You can tell from... Anyway, so let's see. Irish is let me see, wait now, yeah, so goon on you, David Morrison. So is that good on you, is it, David? So thank you, I'm assuming. Or goon, maybe that's what he means, I don't know. Lol, okay. Is Irish still compulsory?
Yeah.
Rathcairn. Is Rathcairn up in
That's if you read
is that
the next.
I think that's Boy.
If you
Is
read
it?
the next one.
That's the Gaeltacht near Boy. Oh yeah, very good. And so it was amazing. These two old farmers come in, and the two of them are just chatting away. And you're kind of going, it's just so impressive. And we were in Donegal. Remember those guys in the bar? Just so impressive,
We've
isn't
been
it?
in a few places though around the country where people are speaking Irish to each other.
Do you remember we went to that place when we went to the island where Peg Sayers is on?
Yeah.
What's the name of that island? What's the name of the island? The island that Peg Sayers is on?
Skeleton? No.
No. Inish. I'm going to say Inish. No, I can't remember, right? But what happened was we were in this restaurant. There's this kind of... kind of center of Irish stuff, right? And do you remember the Americans were ordering their food in Irish and stuff like that, so it's just so impressive. It's so impressive. This time next year, Rodders will be
Blaskets. This time next year, Rodders will be millionaires.
What's that?
They're slagging Daddy because he wants to be able to speak.
Oh,
Irish
that's
this
very
time
good.
next
Did you
year.
ever see I remember watching you can only see it once because it's so funny. The bit where Del Boy falls to the bar. That has got to be
That's
the
you.
funniest. But you see it once. I remember the first time. Have you ever seen it? Where Del Boy falls to the bar.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hysterical. But it's only something you can watch once.
You sure?
Tom May E Muntorje. Oh, you're a teacher. Oh, we could start. I have an issue with teachers.
Who's the teacher?
Huh?
Who's the teacher?
Tame Rory is. Tame I mo miwn tor J. Is that correct now? Tame
Right, let me
I
read
am.
it.
I am
Muntor is teacher.
I am
Where is it?
Emo miwn tor J.
Tame Imo
Miwn tor J.
J.
Is that correct? Obviously
Tame-
it is. What am I saying? I don't know.
Tame
I don't know.
Imo Moon J.
So the thing I have with teachers is I spent a lot of time with them in college. Right? So after being taught obviously in school, you know the way you kind of have this feeling, you have a lot of respect for teachers when you should, right? You should respect your teachers, but there's something a bit off about them. Do you know?
I like the teachers now. I have to say,
Not
they're
now.
completely different
Not now.
grade.
When I was in
we
school.
were
When
t-
I was in school.
when we were kids, they
35 years ago.
were just there because their parents were there. And I'd say in the whole time I was in school, I had 1, 2,
School.
3, maybe 4 decent teachers the
Yeah.
entire time I was
Well,
in
that's
school.
twice as many as I had.
That was Miss Conway. 5. Miss Conway, Miss Marin, Mr. Knight, Miss Thompson, Claire Thompson. She taught me art in secondary school, and Miss Wall. She was my year head, and when I was in secondary school, and I couldn't tell you who the rest of them were, but I know they were all horrific.
Yeah. So for me, I had 2 good teachers,
Mm.
and Miss Alice Ash, she was the best teacher I ever had. She was fantastic, right? Taught me maths. I could not figure out maths, right? So I use maths for my living, right? That's what I do. I'm an analyst, and I could not get my head around numbers. And I had her as a teacher, and bang, she sorted me right out. I must have been like dyslexic for numbers, you know that way. She was just the right kind of teacher for me, and sorted me right out and turned me right around. I mean, I went from struggling to passing and doing quite well in my exams. So fair ball to Alice Ash. But generally speaking, then what happened was I left, and then when I went to college, and I was in university in Cork, and I started to hang around with teachers. Not all of them now, but then I started to see why, because you kind of get to know them as people, and you're like, oh, you're going to be a teacher. You're going to be let loose on kids somewhere. That explains why I had so much trouble. Because, you know, I think people go into those kind of jobs for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
And I think they're poor teachers, and they should be drummed.
I don't think
they should
they
be
do.
drummed out of the profession.
I don't think they do anymore, to be honest with you, because the points are so high, and they've to deal with so much now that I don't think teachers now go into it for the wrong reasons. I think they go in knowing what they're getting. Like, I mean, there's so many disabilities and everything now.
Well, no, I see. I think to become a teacher now is so much more difficult as well.
It is,
like,
yeah.
I think the bar is set so much higher, and also there's so much more demands made of them that they're better.
Points are
And
quite high.
based on how Christian is being educated, it is definitely of a far better standard.
Yeah.
Far
And it's
better.
the same type of school as you and I would. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a private school or anything. So
No, it's a public school. Yeah,
Yeah,
public
so
school.
it's
So
not as
public
though-
school in Ireland is state school, not
Mm.
so any in the UK. So public in the UK means a different thing.
Yeah.
It's really weird the way they call public schools, but they're private. I don't fully understand that. If
Mm.
someone wants to explain it. So, also an excuse to spend more time in that pub in Donegal, says Ginger Barry.
You don't need an excuse.
Absolutely, Ginger. You're dead right.
It's
I
literally
love
the
that
nicest
pub.
spot. No, do you know they haven't
I
reopened?
love that pub. Have they now?
They didn't reopen today. They said they're not able to, because of the restrictions. They're not able to
Well,
reopen just
Definitely
yet.
not going up there then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, they can't.
They do have a little restaurant though, so I just thought it was very strange.
No, but not at this time of the year.
Yeah.
Remember we went there during the
Yeah,
summer
it's
compared
fish,
to the
yeah.
no. So let me see. I think that stop kicking the table. Will you stop kicking the table? I think they're. Will you stop kicking the table? Wait.
I didn't kick it.
Are you kicking the table? No. Okay.
It's you.
So
Look, your legs are
so
wrapped
it's
around
not.
it.
It's not. Well, I can't put my leg through.
That's your fault, David.
There's the fridge. So, I think there are so many different Irish dialects. Okay, yeah, that's very interesting. There are especially the north. So we say ta. We speak Munster Irish. There's Munster Irish.
You must speak Leinster Irish.
No, we speak the Munster dialect, and then there's the Northern dialect, the Ulster dialect, and then I think it's called there's like the Connacht dialect, I think.
Well, it's the
So
four
up the
provinces.
north, when we say ta, which is Irish for Yes, it's the affirmative, right? Yes. They say ta. Ta.
That's
Mad.
because they're saying it like that.
It's mad.
They say
It's mad.
ta.
Ta.
I
So-
speak a mix of
Blankets. All right. Blaskets. So, yeah, very good. I love a couple of fuck. Yeah, sounds great. I can't. And the thing is, I really, really, really want to do it. I want to learn Irish, and I'm one of these kind of people that when I start something, if I stick at it, I become slightly obsessed, don't I?
Right.
Right, let him read his question.
Oh yeah, sorry, buddy. Go on. Yeah,
Right.
you've a few minutes because Gogglebox.
I would
I'm
suggest.
celebrity tonight.
I would suggest asking from 6 to 9, but there was 9 questions. Pick from 1 to 9. I'd suggest choose 6.
Number 6.
Number 6. What can you say in Irish?
I have something I can say in Irish.
What?
Pogue my home.
Tatu Amadan.
Tatu Amadan. Tame
It's
Amadan.
not Pogue. I thought it was Togue.
Pogue. Is it?
Togue Mahone.
Pogue my home.
Pogue.
I speak a mix of
Pogue is
Connacht
Irish for
Irish
kiss.
and Munster Irish.
Pogue. Is P-O fada G, is it? Pogue.
Yeah, I think.
And hone, is it? Is
bum.
our it hole. Pogue my hole.
Can I say what?
Go on.
Nor bhín an cat an whipping and look a grinke.
What's that mean?
Woo!
I'm not telling you. You can figure it out yourself.
Say it again.
Nor bhín an cat an whipping and look a
Nora
grinke.
V
Nor bhín an
Nor-
cat an whip.
on cat.
Yeah.
On cat, right?
Something
So not
about
a
cat.
not a cat.
Something about a cat.
Go on.
Cat.
Cat.
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah.
Cat or cock?
Nor bhín an cat an whip.
So
Yeah.
something
Look a
about
grinke.
cat.
Look. Look.
I'm not saying it again because you're
A
confused.
wink.
Alright, well
What
done.
does it mean? What does it mean?
When the cat's away, the mouse will play.
Ah, very good, very good. I knew. Look, I was thinking, is that pig? But that's muck. See, everyone knows a few Irish.
Okay.
Are we doing another one? We're out of time.
Right.
Ask
One more question.
All
Number
right.
8.
Number 8. Favourite trip in the van?
The ones when we come home.
Yeah.
Munster, Connacht, and Ulster are the three. Yeah.
I speak a mix of Connacht
Favorite
Irish and
trip
Munster
in the
Irish.
van. And do you know what we should do next week? Right. This is what next week's topic should be. Favorite trips. So everyone needs to come back next week with their favorite trips, and send them as messages or whatever. Right. So the reactions to the Irish coming out as double Dutch. Okay. See you, Aaron. Thanks for
Bye,
joining.
Aaron.
What was my favorite trip? I'll have to have a think about it. And on that, we leave it on a cliffhanger.
We save it till next week.
Favorite trip. I don't think I've had one yet.
Slán.
Slán.
Slangfall.
Ihe what, or as they say in the north.
Ihe.
Ihe means night.
Iha.
Or a good, no, ihe is night. So ihe,
Yeah.
and then you say what, or va, as they say in the north.
Or you can say
Iha va sounds
Ihe.
German.
Ihe.
Ihe,
Night,
ihe,
Night,
night.
Ihe,
Ihe.
Ihe,
Ihe.
ihe.
Well, you know I have my own
All right,
language
we're gonna
anyway.
go. Okay.
Bye.
So favorite trips. Thanks, guys. See you, David. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and I'll stick this up on Spotify, or you can watch it on playback here, should you choose to.
Suju.
Should you?
Suju.
Did I say should you?
Suju.
Yes.
Should you choose to?
Tá.
Slán. August.
Slangafol.
Planet.
Slán agus German Harbour.
Blessings.
Slangafol.
Song of
What's that one? May the road rise to meet you.
I don't know. See ya.
Bye guys.
Slán live. Very nice.
Slán.
Very nice, Rory. Go home.
Rory, we might need you to jump in on these
Mahan
as
far.
to teach us a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that you've outed yourself.
And obviously, before we go, if Donald gets on, because Donald speaks Scotch Gaelic, and when he finds out that I don't speak speak proper Irish, he's probably going to have a moan at me.
And when you look the way you
Because
look
I
as
kind
well.
of, I maybe alluded to the fact that I could a bit, but
Did
not.
you? Oh, you're liar, liar, pants on fire.
Yeah. All right. Scotland. That's his favourite trip, presumably.
You can save that for next week, Ginger.
Slán. Okay, I'm going to hit the button now. Goodbye.
3, 2, 1.
Go. I hate when it says that end. Yes.